and Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent-looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall.
79T, 2458, Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take 1.
Somebody find out the real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
But I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
Blink, blink, blink. You know what? I'm not done with intros yet. Let's goof around on these bitches.
I've talked to Ryan Stone once. I'm pretty sure the whole conversation I pushed him like pretty hard.
What was hard, Ariel?
The therapist will essentially give them SSRIs, which I think the sexual effects that SSRIs have on the body, right?
Some. There's tons of like MAOs and like tricyclics that you're talking about, like the type of SSRIs that used to be given to pedophiles. We don't give those to men. We don't give those to men. But he's not as informed as like I think he would like to be. Yeah.
It only takes once. It only takes once. I'm not even the smartest guy. I'm an idiot. I wear pink Bass Pro Shops hats. Like a redneck Back to the Future Marty McFly. If I'm embarrassing you, something's up. Something's up. Okay, guys. I got an email. I'm looking at the broken camera right now, which is, if you guys don't know, the type of camera I get is called a Makos 4K. It's a USB camera, but it's DSLR. It's awesome. Super affordable. I upgraded my old one to the new version, which was able to handle low light scenarios. And then I gave Clary the original one. He's like, oh, thanks, man. I don't think he uses it. I think he still uses his old HD webcam 720p thing. But anywho, so this one kind of went tits up. It's weird. Now it looks like it's got night vision. And I don't want to film the whole thing with green. So I bought a replacement, and it's coming. It's supposed to be here by now, but I got an email. Hey, just a heads up, it's Chinese New Year right now, and so your piece is going to take until like the 25th to get down here. And I'm like, you sons of bitches. What's with the Chinese, man? Why do they got to screw over Canada like this? Anyway, so that's the reason why I'm anonymous for one more week, which I don't know if it matters. I'm wondering about this. Like, obviously, you take the vibe of the show based on which profile picture I pick. Like the last couple weeks, I had one of me, that pencil sketch of me in a bathrobe looking very disheartened about everything. And everything had a chill little vibe to it. And now, what can I say? Let's go hard. You can tell the shirt I'm wearing by just the voice. Anyways, good morning, Couch. I'm ready for the show while I clean this business. Awesome, sir. Just listened to Softbone this past week, and it's excellent. I love a book that can make me chuckle. Oh, dude. I'm putting this one up. Get that Rhodesia shit out of here. Honestly, like, I know I got two trains of thought to put on this one. One, very glad you like it. Humbled. Glad that it got you for like the 6 months of work it took me from start to finish. I'm glad it got you 6 hours of enjoyment. And that's one track. And then the other track is, of course you're going to fucking enjoy it. It's goddamn good. It's goddamn good. I've worked a decade on literacy because school didn't teach me shit. Most of my teachers were just high on weed. I had to learn computer programming by myself with no YouTube back then. So you had to like find books and things. There was an internet, but you had to dial up into it, and programmers kept their secrets behind Usenet, which I wasn't about to go trafficking through. Then I joined the military, and they're like, yeah, we don't use pronouns or like conjecturing words or all that little fancy stuff. They're like, yeah, here's a book of acronyms that's 3 inches thick. Only use the acronyms. I didn't use a vowel from 2003 to 2012. No vowels. All acronyms. Vowels are extra bandwidth that your 75 baud modem can't afford. And then after that, came to Reddit. Basically, I was the original LLM, came to Reddit and the red pill, learned to type, learned to read, learned to write. Somehow managed to avoid all the Redditor things. It's not Reddit, it's lame. M-M-M. finally, after all of that, have like a wealth of personal experience and history to go back on here. And I'm like, I was like you guys, man. I'm so angry at the world. Like, not like, it's like impotent anger because there's nothing you can do about it. But you know what I mean? Like, you get riled up. You're like, dude, this COVID was fucking, it was brutal. Watching what it did to everybody. Like, I don't think we've truly had a truth and reconciliation about like what the hell happened during COVID. And don't get me wrong, I saw the exact same thing that happened like to Germany in the 40s. And like, hear me out here. Hear me out. Remember that first night? They're like, hey, the Russians are coming. They're going to be here tomorrow. And they're like, all right, fuck it. Let's go get drunk. And they have like a big party beforehand. And then the next day, the German grape squads come in and like all hell breaks loose. It was kind of like that. Like, my girl was working from home. I'm doing this. So my life hadn't changed. And then she'd have her little Zoom meetings. And people would be sitting there just day drunk, having their meetings, talking like it's the greatest time of their lives. And I'm like, holy crap. And my girl's like, man, I should start drinking during the day. I'm like, look, I'm telling you from experience. As a fellow person who was confined to ship during a deployment for a year, here is the mental tips and tricks you need to survive a possible year-long event that's going to suck real bad. And it's like, and it's very basic stuff. I'll pass it on to you guys. A, routines. Always have a routine. It's like building templates for your work. B, doesn't matter how fun it feels. Do not wear your bathrobe to work. You get dressed. You get dressed, you have a routine in the morning, you take your shower, you take your shit, you take your shave, or whatever it is you do, your makeup. You put makeup on while you're by yourself, put on a little bit, but put on something. Then sit down, carve out a separate space for where you work. Make sure you work out, dude. I don't care if they close down the world. Like, they can't stop you from walking. We turned into old British people having morning and evening constitutionals. You know what a constitutional is? I thought it was taking a dump until I realized that's how British people walk. Shower, brush your teeth, exactly. All of that stuff. What does this have to do with why Softbone's good? The whole thing, look, it worked out well because everybody gained like 40 pounds, bunch of liver damage. Kids didn't get shit done. Dogs were even getting depressed. It was crazy. There's going to be made for dogs soon. Anyways, the point is, like, this all kind of spawned like an impotent anger inside of me. And I'm like, what do I even do with this? I can sit on the internet and yell and scream and rant. And Clary's already got that shit locked up, man. And then it was right at the time that Praxeology 3 came out. Or 2. Somewhere. Anyways. And I realized, like, that's it, man. There's no more, like, there's nothing else on the red pill that I can put out here. Nothing new. Everything's kind of been said. And yeah, we can diddle around the edges for a bit, but as far as like an overarching narrative structure, not so much. There was Dread, and there was Frame. There's game stuff, but game stuff's mostly been mined. There's nothing left. Field Report, like in a practical application. I managed to squeeze out a fourth, which is out now and just crushing it, by the way. The idea of like a practical application of Red Pill from the perspective of men who used to fuck as opposed to ones who didn't. Which is surprisingly novel. Most self-help stuff assumes that everybody else is a retard. How about this one where you're not a retard? You're actually pretty goddamn switched on. And hey, shit happens and you have no control over it. And life sucks now. But hey, you're not an idiot. So that's all done. And I'm like, you know what? Let's write fiction. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. I got nothing else to do for 6 months other than all the other work I'm doing. I haven't taken on too many projects in forever. And so that's what Softbone came out. And I was looking back and I'm trying to I'm joining writer communities and they all suck. And I'm trying to read more books and they all suck. And I'm like, what the hell am I looking for? And I'm like, you know what was great? Watching Vince doing his pulp thing. And I'm like, you know what? These are like nice, easy reads. Why don't I make something that's like digestible? Something that I'm willing to read. I had just finished Delicious Tacos and now for some good news. And I was like, dude, this is really good. Like, it's really good. If you haven't read Delicious Tacos books, I would say read it. The Pussy is kind of like everybody else's first book where it's a sort of autofiction memoir collection of essays thing. But Good News is just great. And it was the inspiration that between that one and Devin Erickson's Theft to Fire. Again, if you haven't read since high school or college, if the last fiction book you read was Fight Club in 1996 or whatever, you're going to love those ones. And yeah, Theft of Fire is kind of like a libertarian sci-fi hard science, but he doesn't turn it into a manifesto. It really is a story about people, which is what I love about it. Yeah, he shoves the science in there, but it's ultimately about the people in there. And Taco's same thing. It's kind of like it's about this incel guy, end of the world, tries to find his balls back and eats Ellen's dog. So it was on those veins that, yeah, and I wrote a goddamn good one because I'm like, what is it about those things I liked and what is it about I didn't like? And I thought, well, hell, I got all this. Like, how do you not write great fiction on what's going on today? COVID, the Ukraine war, and like the feminine imperative were like the main inciting factors for the satire of it. I'm like, I want people to see exactly what's going on today, amped up to 11. And it didn't even take much. It was like an extra 20% on top of what we're already doing now to make it look like absolute futuristic dystopian nightmares. And then similar to Taco's main guy, it's about a guy kind of getting his balls back, ultimately. So yeah, I'm like, of course you guys are going to like it. It's got everything you need, and it's missing all of the slop that's out there right now. And I'm thankful and very angry at the slop that's right now. Like, I didn't realize this. Do you know most entertainment exists to waste your fucking time? It exists to waste your goddamn time. Here, one sec. Putting this up here, I'm going to think this over while I keep talking about it. They waste your time. Even the good stuff, like the new Fallout series, as far as I can tell, that's like the best of what's out right now. Great premise, interesting world, blah, blah, blah. And if you ever went and watched the goddamn thing, each episode is like an hour of nothing. And then it ends on a cliffhanger that results in another hour of nothing next week. And I was like, and the worst part is like, I don't mind it, but it really is just like Scorsese said, everything is just a theme park. Ups and downs and twists and turns. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean, and the pirates are all old and antiquated, and there's no real message from it. There's no story. There's no it's enjoyable in the same way that instant ramen noodles are enjoyable. Yeah, it's calories, but it's not food. It's not food. I love Breaking Bad because it's a guy taking his balls back. I mean, it was more than that. Breaking Bad, yeah, there's a guy taking his balls back, but it's kind of good man turns evil. Resentful, almost like it's almost similar to like Magneto in a way. You know how Magneto was like, he was put in the internment camps in Germany, and then he did it never again, and then he turns into the worst monster ever. That's kind of the same arc. All right, so I got to look this up, see if this is actually a thing. Gainax. This better be something, because if this is porn, I'll be so angry. A Japanese animation studio based in Japan. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Royal Space Force. Oh, FLCL. Oh, okay. I think I even know what you're talking about. So, skilled writer, but why do all those books have a Gainax ending? You know what? This is actually a really good one. We're going to get into the Red Pill stuff in a minute, but I'm on a tear right now. Let's do it. I'm assuming it's kind of like a non-hero's journey ending, a non-good guy wins the end of the day, defeats the Empire kind of thing. I think that's what you're getting at. And to be fair, I don't like those endings. I don't like this. It's like and it used to have like Star Wars, great. Lord of the Rings, great. Dune, great. Hero's journey kind of stuff. Nowadays, it's like a fetish for narcissism, you know? Like, I'm tired of watching Netflix shows that are a series of plucky lesbians, blue-haired lesbians and middle-aged soccer moms who hire a star from the 80s and beat up the evil white businessman. Yeah, exactly. You get it. So when I was like, in these things, it doesn't make sense in the story to have like for Softbone, for example, I'm not going to spoil the ending. Not that it even matters, because the ending doesn't matter. It's something I learned when I was doing the Orion videos, that some of my favorite movies and some of the best ones out there were the ones that even if I give you a complete plot synopsis, it doesn't ruin the movie for you. And I was like, that is so interesting. Because it turns out, yeah, how the story ends up isn't important, I don't think. Like, Jake doesn't have to win the Ukraine war single-handedly, although I guess he kind of does. But the war wasn't really a war anyway. That's one of the little twists and turns they have in there, where you find out everything was kind of bullshit. But yeah, he gets like a happy ending. It's kind of like FLCL was a great example of a similar type of ending. If you guys watch that one, it's about a kid who gets a weird bruise on his head after some chick hits him with a bass guitar in the face, and then a robot with a TV for a head hops out of it. And that sounds interesting enough, but it's really kind of like a coming to age story of a guy who's got a crush on an alien. But at the end, it's because she actually loves this guy called the Pirate King, and they have a big fight, and at the end he kind of just kisses her, and then she fucks off to go find the Pirate King, and he just lives his life again. I like those type of endings. It's really kind of similar to Lord of the Rings too, where like Samwise goes back to the Shire. All right, defeated Sauron. I'm gonna go get married, have a farm. So yeah, the ending is Softbone. And yeah, I mean, the point of this is, I know you're gonna love it. It's fucking good, and it's the best part is like everything that I enjoyed growing up as a normal man who's not weesh is like inspiring stuff in there. So all the stuff that's good, and then technically proficient. I think that's the issue. I'm not even trying to brag here, but just technical proficiency. You know, like show up, do your job, punch in, punch out. It's got that. So yeah, you're going to enjoy it. But anyways, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm humbled that you enjoy it. And dude, the new one's going to be fucking even better. Well, I don't know, better? It's hard to say. Kickstarter, sequels are always weird that way. Because with the exception of Empire Strikes Back, I have a hard time thinking of a sequel that was better than the original. Even if they're good. Like Predator 2 was good. But Predator's timeless. Aliens and Empire Strikes Back are the only two I can think of. Because I'm not going to lie, Aliens just fucking rocked. But yeah, 2010, not so much. Ninja Turtles 2, not so much. Gremlins 2, not so much, but kind of in a different way. It was like his own thing. So anyways, my realistic expectations are it's going to be good. It's going to stand up on its own. But if like gun to your head, you're like, pick one, you'd probably go with Softbone. But it doesn't matter. Oh, all right, let's take a quick break. Get back to the red pill stuff here. Oh, by the way, yeah, if I don't end it with the call to action, what kind of podcast am I fucking running here? Go get Softbone. Look, you don't read. I don't read. Nobody likes fiction anymore. Everything's boring. Everything likes to waste your time. I bet you anything that if you ever wanted to stop watching slop and get back into like productive luxury consumption or whatever you want to call it, leisure time, this will be the one that gets you there. It'll be the one that gets you there. So go pick it up. And heck, the Kickstarter, it's going strong, man. It hit its mark. It's actually getting too popular. I had to go buy a label printer because I'm like, dude, to ship all of these off is going to be a huge pain. And it's enough. It's like about 140, 150 copies now. If it gets much bigger, I'm probably just going to get a procurement factory to do that. But I kind of wanted the idea of the personal touch, like write a little note on the inside for people, wrap it up all pretty. I don't know, the personal touch kind of thing. So we'll see. But anyways, yeah, the Kickstarter's kicking ass right now. It's already reached its limit. I've reached out to the artist. We're about due for the feedback session here soon, and he expects that these will all be done and completed for the paperback and the hardcover of both editions for this limited edition for you guys by the time the Kickstarter is finished at the first. So how exciting. So it turns out March is going to be insane. Camera's back, so you could sit here and watch my ugly ass. Kickstarter, little books are going to be on their way out the door. Vince has a new Masculine Geek pulp anthology coming out, which I actually contributed to on this one. You're going to love that too. Now, having said all that, let's get to the super chat. Mountain Man Tops, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. That's the penny that keeps on giving. Mr. Stone, what are your fuck off. That was my dad's name. What are your thoughts on Troy Francis and James Tusk? Dude, Troy and I are buddies. I don't know what you want me to say. Here, I tell you what, Mountain Man Tops, I don't know if you're commenting anymore in here, but if you could follow up on what exactly specifically you want to get, like, do I like Troy as a person? Yeah, he's great. Do I like his haircut? Yeah, it's fine. Is his clothing choices? That's very classic. Tommy Hilfiger 1980s London foggish, sure. Do I like what he's doing as a job? I mean, his pickup artist thing is fine. I don't know if I'd be doing it in my 50s, but dude, you can't argue that he's not rocking it. So you're going to have to be more specific. Like, what are my thoughts on them? James Tusk, I don't really know James. Like, I've seen him do his things with Troy every now and again, but we've never met. I think we've only talked like once or twice. I think they're asking if you think Troy's pickup work is legit. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, dude, of course. Honestly. Like, I think the problem with pickup, and it's not even a problem with pickup, it's a problem with the audience, is that it's been talked about so much in the meta that people forget to address for what it is. For people that hate it, it's all evil, manipulative assholes, and it's turned into kind of like this evil... It's like the Hells Angels of online discourse. It's just evil. And then on the other side, you got guys like, yeah, this is great. They give you they throw pussy from the sky and heavens, and it's like they deify it to the point that Moses would smash some tablets if he saw it. But it's not extreme on either side of these stupid arguments that have Overton windowed something that has nothing to do with nothing. You know what it is? It's scaffolding. That's it. It's training wheels. I always called it training wheels for the soul, because a lot of guys didn't have riz, didn't have charm, weren't good at picking up girls, and I was one of them, late bloomer, whatever. So, and then of course your advice you get, because everybody who's natural kind of like accidentally happened upon it at an early age, and they don't know how it works. Fish don't know how to describe water. Like, I just go up and talk to her, bro. And so you're like, what the hell do I say? So you walk up, you say hi, and then you stand there like an idiot. The purpose of pickup was to give you a scaffolding. So here, when you walk up, when you want to say hello, here's some things to keep in mind. And I'll use mystery as an example. I'm not actually very knowledgeable at all at the London day game model, which is what I believe Troy is proficient in. But ultimately, all of this stuff has come from mystery method, like the Venusian arts or whatever he called it. And everybody just adapted it to their own little niches. And for the most part, the three systems in place were like, that's it. You got Roosh with Bang and Day Game, which those are highlights for children. That's literally paint by numbers version of either mystery method for the night game or the London day game model for picking up during the day. So daytime and nighttime. Everything else is going to be a derivative of that. So it gives you a structure. So case in point with mystery, your openers. Got your time constraint, your pinion opener, and they all serve a purpose. Now here's the point of this and like Troy stuff. Yeah, it all works. And then once you kind of get comfortable with the scaffolding, you realize, oh, I actually kind of don't need this and I don't need that. Like, you learn the rules enough to know which rules to break. And I'm sure there's like another system that is completely antithetical to Troy's that solves the same problem too, and that's fine. But once you start looking at it as training wheels, I need it until I don't need it. There's a lot of things with training wheels on a bicycle you can't do without training wheels. Like, you can't really turn sharp on a bike with training wheels on it, but you don't fall over. And then once you know how to ride a bike, you take the training wheels off. And I'd say it's the same as that. So yeah, Troy, absolutely legit. Infields, I know a lot of his money comes from coaching infields and that, which it's fine. A lot of people like that. I've been to one that MLD John and this other guy in Toronto had, which, by the way, fucking hilarious off-topic thing here. So it's this Indian dude. He wasn't like brand new Indians. He was one of the Indians that Dad came here in the 80s one. So he's, it's not like the other ones. But so he was doing his little pickup course with John, and I'm watching it. And they just had me over as like a guest. I didn't speak or anything. I'm just literally sitting in the back. It was pretty interesting. He was big on nightclub game, like getting to know promoters and stuff like that and leverage the social capital, which is fine. It's kind of like a Mike Sartain sort of gimmick, which it works, but I don't find that to be generally applicable outside of like, yeah. So anyways, regardless of that stuff, the guy ended up getting, I just saw him, my girl's like, hey, did you see this guy on TikTok? And I'm like, what the hell? And he pulls him up. I'm like, yeah, I know this guy. That was the one I went over to see John. She goes, what? And then I go watch the rest of the TikTok. He's like, yeah, sexual assault. I'm like, oh, Jesus, they got another one. The Indian guy in the Versace shirt groping women. And it's like at this point, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't even know. Like part of me has got my manosphere. It's like, well, women just make this shit up. But then the Canadian in me is like, fuck these guys. So we'll see how that plays out. Oh, the point of this was personal coaching. So the guys went out, did their thing. I skipped the bar because I'm like, I'm too old for the bar, man. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm unk. For me though, I was solo the entire, like I lone wolfed for my first 6 months until I found a good wingman, and then we did it together for the longest time. Couldn't go out with my Navy buddies because they were just horrible wingmen. Like one would cock block me. The other one had a girlfriend at home, so he didn't care. He just liked fucking with me too, but he didn't want to sleep with anything. And then the third one was just, was fine. But he didn't really care about any of this stuff. He mostly got so blasted drunk that most of my time was spent keeping him out of fights. So I'm a huge fan of just like go out there and lone wolf. Lone wolf means going out by yourself, zero friends, zero social like safety net, and just like make it happen. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think that's a far superior method. It's like a trial by fire. It's like those guys you have to start cold calling to make a living. Yeah, it's tough and it sucks and nobody likes it. But dude, after 6 months of that, you're carved out of wood. But that's not to say I don't think it works. I just don't prefer it. Hopefully that answers your question. Dark Knight Dev, welcome back, sir. I tend to wear polos, Henleys, plain tees, and crew neck sweaters. What kind of style is that, and what is it based off of? Well, so that depends who you ask. This is actually a very expensive question. If you talk to Tanner Guzzi, which, again, I love that guy too. Never got a bad word to say about him. He frames everything in 3 R's, the rakish, refined, and rugged. And the idea that anything in here has to fit like predominantly in one of those categories. So if you're like polos, Henleys, plain tees, crew neck sweaters, he would probably call that moderately refined, mostly rugged. I, on the other hand, take a more historical context to this stuff. What you got to do is you got to look at like, why does a polo shirt exist? Why does a Henley exist? Why do t-shirts exist? And why do crew neck sweaters exist? A polo shirt is technically sportswear. Those are yoga pants for men. Those were invented because guys were playing polo on horses, and you can't wear a suit doing sports. It just sucked. But but you have to wear a collar because otherwise you're basically naked. So the polo shirt was invented so guys could still look somewhat classic and refined and fashionable while doing sports. So when you wear a polo, think of it that way. That's why golf is big on polo shirts. It's meant as like formalizing sportswear. So yeah, it's one step up from wearing the jersey of a baseball player you like. Henleys are working shirts. If you look up those ones, they were designed for guys who had to work out in the mines and the logging camp, stuff like that. They were made to be rugged. They were made to be easy to take on and off. The reason the buttons were on the top so you can open up the opening, guys with big thick beards, things can get off. It's a working man's shirt. It's like blue jeans. So when you wear a Henley, that's kind of showing off, like it's showing like I work with my hands. I'm a tough guy. It's very, very rugged working man stuff. Huge in America. Europe, probably not so much. Europe loves to look like, the idea of fashion in Europe is to look like you don't work. The one in America is to make it look like you do work, if that makes sense. T-shirts were underwear. So, and I know you're going to hate this reference, Dev, but you know how your people wear the pants down by their ankles? Yeah, T-shirts were just like wearing your underwear out. It's kind of got it's gotten some vibes of like Renegades, like the 1950s greasers and Socs and those type of guys, like punks and that used to wear that kind of stuff too. So it gets that vibe to it, but it's meant to be very minimal casual. And then crew neck sweaters, those are mostly like I don't want to say business casual, but homeware business casual. So these are actually a mix or mishmash of like 4 different styles. So you have like a very unique style where you take pieces and bits. So you can make a story out of this if you want to, but then it's just good to know. To be fair, most American fashion though is based on surplus wartime gear. In fact, most stuff is. Like the suit is basically an old British uniform collars of the high collared things are rolled down and people are meant to be in business more so. It's meant to show like warfare, but in a more formal setting. Khakis were chino pants, which was an Italian version of Chinese cotton pants, meant to be super casual, but they wore them out to the Navy in the Navy. And the Brits were tired, like it was impossible to keep the whites clean in the jungle. So this guy invented this particular blend of like coffee, bean, and other kind of stains to make it so it was more like tropical military wear. So when you wear khakis, or a bomber jacket, or a trench coat, or a top, like I guess a top coat too. This is meant to be like dressing like a soldier, you know? And I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff. I like working man's clothes and I like wartime clothes. I really do. It's probably my favorite outfits. Like the blue jean pea coat Henley combination. It's a classic, but I always like it. So if you need to, rugged, refined, rakish, you can use that. You can use the historical context if you want to. And that's the beauty of it. And this is like, I'm coming back to storytelling in this, but like how you dress really is a story. How you decorate your house is a story. I even have an old Red Pill coffee video on Tell Better Stories. Because pickup was a story. Dude, when you're opening with a girl, you're telling a story. Hey, I gotta be back with my friends in a second here. Have an opinion. Is it cheating if it's in a different area code? Hey, my friend just ditched me with an ex-girlfriend, and then you tell this crazy story about the ex-girlfriend who's crazy. It's all made up. Like, who cares? But it's fun. It's engaging. That was the original TikTok, was a guy walking up to a girl and rizzing her. Just so you know. That's probably why girls don't like men anymore. All that crazy pickup stuff they used to get in the bar, now they can just do it at home from their phone. Here's some middle-aged soccer mom doing it. But I'll give you a case in point. My place was an amazing place for bringing girls back to. Location-wise, whatever. Inside my house, and I still have them, I had a thing where I would collect like sand from every beach of every ocean. And then I collected masks from every country I had been to. I'm staring now at one I got. I think this one's from Dubai. I think that one's a Dubai one. No, that's Mexico. Anyway, so I have one from like Puerto Rico, one from Mexico, one from Panama, one from Croatia, one from China, one from Japan, one from Thailand. I don't think I have one from India. Or maybe I do. Did I mention the Korean one? I have to look around my house now to see which ones I'm looking at. I think I got them. There's probably a couple more. It's been so long that I'm forgetting now. Anyways, so when a girl would come over to my place, it'd be, what the heck? And it's like a mismatch of masks. Some are like African looking, some are like European looking, some are like theater looking. One's Chinese, one's a Buddha. And you're like, what the hell's all this? You got a story behind it. Oh, well, this is from my travels. I got this from here. And then, oh, speaking of Thailand, I got this great story about this one. And in this sense, the decor of my place is a story. Same thing with the clothes. That pea coat, the pea coat I have, I picked it up in Japan at the Naval Exchange. Got tons of stories about Japan, which is crazy because I've had that coat since 2008 and it's still perfect. I think I've had to get 2 patches done to the pockets because the seams on the pockets wore out. But the coat itself is just perfect. Just get it dry cleaned once a year and you're good to go. I would argue that matters more. Because, you know the whole sad MGTOW apartment meme? Where it's just like a TV and a bed? And like guys think this is really okay. It's because there's nothing in there. There's no story. There's nothing for people to latch onto. I would argue, Dev, if you can tell a story based on your clothes you're wearing, then you're doing well. If they go into your place, is there something there that somebody goes, dude, what is this? Heck, half the time when I do these books, like if you guys have looked, look, I'm not going to toot my own horn more than I have to here, but have you looked at my books lately? From Fuck Files all the way to Ghost of Odessa? They are beautiful. They are fucking gorgeous, man. Every single one. Even the couple of the redos. Like I have a special edition of Fuck Files. Got this artist called Garange on there. You could put any one of my books on your coffee table. And I guarantee you bring a girl home and she would ask, what the heck is this? They might even flip through it. Now, the red pill stuff, they'll probably be like, what the fuck is this? But the covers will at least get their interest, you know? And that's the point. I want you guys to have like a whole experience for that. And that's the same thing with you. Girl comes to your place, sees you dressing up like craziness. That's why a lot of dudes used to love wearing like shit from the Woo Wear store. You come in, the girl sees the guy dressed up like the Wu-Tang, like Old Dirty Bastard, whatever. Oh my God, this guy's hardcore. He's a pimp. He's a slayer. And you're like, oh fuck, I'm turned on already because I know he could just murder me if he wanted to. Everybody's clothes tell the story. Heck, even the branding. Like, look at right now. Look at what you're looking at right now. A pink Levi's shirt, a blue puffer vest, and a pink Bass Pro Shop hat with some yellow trucker aviators. Tell me that's not a story right there. That's weird. He's dressed like a blue-collar trucker, but extremely gay. What is this? Big smile on his face, cussing like a sailor? That makes no sense, but it's like, but you guys, you've been to this channel long enough. You know exactly what this is, and you know it fits. This 100% fits. So yeah, Dev, hopefully that answers your question. All right, I think we're caught up here. All right, get back to it. Anyways, so... Oh, did I do the ending? Oh, okay, quick thing on the endings. Ending of the book, it's like very FLCL-ish, the Gainax. I like the small victories. Because like Softbone is dystopian, feminist techno-dystopia. And there's no way, like, people just don't change the world because they took down some drones or something like that, right? So I'm like, what kind of answer is good? And this is the one I love. Like, at the beginning of the story, he is a guy who has to jerk off to AI porn. He's not allowed to touch his wife. She got IVF because she didn't want to have sex with him, and now he's forced to pay for it. Otherwise, he goes to jail. To go from that, like, what is the pinnacle of that? All that stuff goes away, and he gets to sleep with a big-tittied, hot redhead who wants him for him. That's it. No SSRIs, good libido. I'm like, that's a great ending. The man got everything he wanted. Don't care, got laid. Doesn't even spoil anything either. Same thing with... Oh, anyways, we got back on it. So here's the point of the episode that I was actually going to start like 20 minutes ago. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. Going to do a quick transition video. Let's make fun of somebody. Oh, dude, I forgot all about these old ones.
They can't make me consent to it. I'm free. We are free. We are free. And they don't have any power over us. They don't have any power over us.
They absolutely had power over us. They absolutely had. They had power over you. They came to your house. They took you from your kids. They put you in a cell. They signed a piece of paper so you can go home. The judge made fun of you. They absolutely have power over you. Anyways, to the red pill thing. So, for those of you that don't know, I have a workshop I do. I'm not advertising for it. I actually kind of like it better when I don't advertise for it because it's small and it only requires like X amount of time from me. I find if you really want to make like the red pilled workshopping thing your thing, you have to charge a lot for it because mentally it's just draining. It's just draining. That's why when I was first here in like the first year, I was doing those like one-on-ones and they were like $500 an hour and they were doing well. And I could have stuck with that, but dude, there is nothing more depressing. And I know I've told you guys this before. There's nothing more depressing than having a guy give you his field report, his Batman origin story, whatever. It's very boilerplate. You've seen it 100 times and you explain exactly what's going on, why it's happening, what's going to happen if he doesn't do X, Y, and Z, and the reasons why that's important. And then some like mental models and a couple essays and maybe a book on like, here you get through all this stuff. Here's the points to take away from it. And here's what you can do for yourself. And then to get a call back a month later, another $500 with a guy going, hey, remember all that stuff you said was going to happen? Yeah, well, it happened. And you remember all those things that you said I should do? Well, I didn't do them. And you remember all the consequences of not doing that you said was going to happen? Well, all those happened too. Anyway, so now I'm here asking you, what do I do now? And I was like, this is the consequences of your actions part of the story. There's like nothing left to do other than deal with it. Like, you know what I mean? Which sucks. That wears you down. And so I like this one. It's like super cheap, right? I don't even charge much. It's like a Starbucks coffee. I don't care. But the point of this story isn't about that. The point of the story is, as I go through it, it's in a group setting. So any one person wastes your time. There's 5 other people that can get value from it. Sometimes it's just the case of a guy. 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 Sometimes it's just the like who had the same problems and he's watching somebody else fuck them up, him articulating the solution to that guy is him teaching himself what he's learned. So even the guys who aren't useful are kind of useful in this sense. The point of it is, though, I always have a collection of reference material for when a guy's going through a thing, and I'm noticing a lot of things pop up more often. A lot of things. I don't know, I've been kind of ruminating on a Praxeology Volume 5 where it's like the 20 most applicable pieces of like red-pilled mental models that'll affect you. And one of the big ones is from Wine More Please, like why are you talking? Shut the fuck up. And you talking, why sometimes you should do it and why sometimes you shouldn't. And it's constantly coming up because guys love to express themselves to their women when the women don't give a shit and they didn't think through like what is the consequence, like what am I trying to achieve by opening my goddamn mouth and what is it going to receive at the end. They don't think about any of that stuff. They just, I feel like she needs to hear what I'm going to say, and that's it. So when you read it, and I'll put a link on here too, fuck it, One More Please, he deserves a lot more traffic than he gets because he really is probably the strongest fame within the red pill of anybody I've ever met. He single-handedly has taken on the red pill subreddit a couple times and won. It's always fun. It's always fun to watch. But so he starts it off like, yeah, if you are wondering, should I open my mouth? It's like, just don't. Just don't. It's kind of the inspiration of shut the fuck up as a mental model and strategy. Because most of the time when guys talk, there's only two reasons to talk. There's open communication reasons and there's closed communication reasons. The open communication reasons are to share information. When you're at work, when you're in formal hierarchies, aka Athol K's Married Man Sex Life Primer, when he talks about that, when you're talking to the judge, when you're talking to the cops, when you're talking to your boss, when you're talking to your teacher, when you're talking to your dad, these are largely open communications. Where's the keys? The keys are over here. What did you do last week? I didn't murder that guy. The glove fits, you must have quit. All that stuff. Those work well, and men are good at them because sharing information is what we're good at. Having said that, relationships are about closed communication. Closed communication is female speak. It is informal hierarchies. It is where there's no clear, like, hold women accountable works in a formal hierarchy, but not an informal hierarchy, right? So when you get this hold woman accountable thing, you're assuming they're in a hierarchy, like they're not in a formal hierarchy. Like, what the fuck are you going to do about it? It's more accurate. Yeah, and I'm getting to this. They do dig themselves in a hole, but it's the why they dig them in a hole. So with closed communication, and I kind of gave like a simple thing in my book about, and this one's in frame, about a helpful metric to think about closed communication. And I always talk about the status and harmony chart, which I largely borrowed from Venkatesh Rao in Tempo, where think about status and think about harmony. Is this a superior talking to an inferior or an inferior talking to a superior? And then harmony. Am I talking to somebody that I am on the same team, or am I talking to somebody that I am against? And when you're using closed communication, you kind of put that on here. It's not accurate, but it's useful as a metric, right? When you're talking to your wife and you want her to understand your point of view, you're ultimately speaking to her as a subordinate, like you're the subordinate. I need something from you. I want you to understand my point. And that gives her power because now you need something from me, Billy, but I don't need something from you. Therefore, I have power in this situation. So when you're doing this, you're ultimately giving up your power in this situation. Now, if your girl's on your same team, she might coddle you. Oh, that's okay, baby. I understand. The same way you would talk to a child. And that is a low status, high harmony interaction. Condescension. Of course, you get a girl that wants to divorce you, is cheating on you, doesn't really give a shit. You're going to get insolence or like indignation. It's like, fuck you, you idiot. And that's where you get like the low harmony, low status. And there's like a quadrant for each one, and that's fine. So why should you talk and why should you sometimes not? And then when you realize, like, most of the time when you're talking, you're actively supplicating. I need my wife to understand me. You don't need her to understand you. If you really look into it, and you remember that whole what do you want thing? This is what I mean. What do you want? Well, we're having a fight. What are we having a fight over? About money, about sex. I want you to spend less money. I want you to have less sex. You don't actually want her, or more sex, sorry. I don't want you to understand me. I want you to fucking comply with my expectations. Don't spend us at a house and home. Don't put a pillow fort up between us. So when you're talking, is this going to achieve either of those? I don't think so. It never has. There's never been a case where a guy's like, stop spending money, and the girl says, okay, and then starts eating oatmeal. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't. So what do? They say some shit to make it adversarial, confrontational, put himself in a supplicative position where she can hold that over his head. Or even worse yet, sometimes just lie. Yeah, baby, you're absolutely right. I should spend less money. And then she goes out and buys the newest iPhone because nobody fucks a guy with an Android. I've seen that, man. There was a marriage. One of my friends, one of the 5 Matts I've known in the military, and his wife was a Polish chick named Liz. And they used to complain about money all the time. And as a sailor, it's embarrassing. If you're sitting there hat in hand, you have the most stable income in a job that you cannot be fired from, and you're not even home to spend it half the time. So if you're having money problems as a sailor, there's something that's gone horrifically wrong. And my first indication that you probably have a coke habit. Anyways, so they would bitch and mount money, and he would do all of this stuff, the validation seeking, the talking too much, exactly like we're talking about here. And then, to get over this, to get catharsis, they'd go buy they'd $500 worth of new toys. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? They are divorced now, by the way. And it was absolutely brutal, some of their situations. He's the one that taught me that a wife saying, "Are you done yet?" is probably like, if you ever wanted to get murdered, just say that in the middle of sex. Are you done yet? Don't ever pass this on to your woman. It's like, look, whether it's with me or the next guy or whoever, don't ever say that. Tell your sister, tell your mom, tell everybody. Do never say this to a man, because I guarantee you they will start strangling if they are capable. And if they're not, why are you sleeping with the beta male anyway? So you get my point here? So why are you talking? And then you realize, like, what happens if I just don't care if she understands me? And I want her to spend less money. And you're like, well, I can't say anything then. It's like, well, do you ever think of maybe shutting the fuck up then? If you're not going to achieve anything you want to do, why would you say something to sabotage yourself? Well, that sounds awful Machiavellian. Like, if you want. Don't go to the ATM at 3 a.m. in Oakland and then wonder, how come I got robbed? It's rather ableist of you. So yeah, he's like, you're never going to achieve anything by talking. But there is a purpose for conversation, communication. And you know what that is? It's a concept called the hamster maze. If you guys don't know, the pickup guys had the hamster wheel. The idea that a girl will like spin herself up, neuroticism, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. It's a very sexually attractive thing. Put that aside. Understand that the hamster is a metaphor for anxiety. The hamster maze is a girl having anxiety about not knowing things and then wanting control over a situation. So she's trying to find an exit from the maze. The purpose of communication is to find that exit. The point is, how do you even get that hamster going? It's by doing things. If you're in a lackluster marriage and you start taking better care of yourself, you start going to the gym, you start being unavailable, you start doing the things you want to do, you stop looking for valueless situations, you stop sitting there sulking while your wife says she doesn't want to touch you, meanwhile you just go out to the gym instead, or go out and play with friends, or go take your kids for ice cream or whatever. Start living your life the way you want to live, doing the things that you want to do. Heaven forbid, make yourself available to the opposite sex just to get a litmus test. Like, hey, am I still fuckable? Is it my wife won't fuck me, or no women will fuck me? And then you find yourself in a situation where, oh my God, all the soccer moms in the neighborhood can't keep their hands off of me. And the wife notices this, starts freaking out. The hamster's looking for an exit. Why is he more attractive? Why are girls talking into him? Why is he gone for an hour on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday? He says those are his gym days, but he could be, and it's one of those things, it's like Alfred Hitchcock says, nothing is scarier than the imagination. So like, don't even show the villain, don't show the monster. Same thing here. Whatever she pictures you doing with genuine dread is scarier and more anxiety ridden than anything you can actually say. So why the fuck are you talking? Here's why you're talking. So she doesn't exit for that, and she doesn't know. And women have no idea how to solve this problem, which is so crazy, because it's like, fuck your man, be pleasant is really it. And they, for some reason, need to be walked into this amazing, amazing solution. I don't know. I guess the Bible should have put that in the front. On day 6, Jesus got blown. Sorry, Christians, I didn't mean that one that way. So yeah, you're doing all this work, you're getting yourself together, and a girl only processes it like, why would I be doing this? Why would I get into shape? Why would I be unavailable? Why would I start dressing better? Well, probably because I'm looking to divorce them. And so they get freaked out. They're like trying to figure out what's going on. This is the purpose of communication. Once you've done work and they've seen the work and they're unable to understand why the work is being done, and then they start making it your fucking problem, you can communicate. Hey, babe, I told you. Our relationship needs to be at this level, and it's not at this level. So I am going to do my own thing. If you want to be at this level, all you got to do, thin, healthy, sexual, pleasant, make a sandwich once in a while. And that's when communication comes in, at the end of all of it. So this is probably, out of all the things I reference, like the top 5. It comes in everywhere. It really does. Another one. This one's less. It's funny enough. This is the weirdest thing, and I don't know how to process this. But like when I'm referencing red pill stuff, there's a lot of stuff from the subreddits. There's a lot of stuff from the blogs. A lot of stuff from Royce. Rational Male is probably, out of all the red pill people in the blog, are the ones that I reference specifically the least. Not because he's not useful, not because he's not valuable, but because his stuff is mostly 10,000 foot abstract gender dynamic stuff. And that once you kind of have it in your head, you very rarely have to reference it again. Very rarely. More often than not, people's nuts and bolts situations and issues are more practical concerns. But there's 2 from Rollo that I reference all the time. The first is the safety net, and the second is buffers. If you guys don't know, the safety net, it's my all-time favorite. I know most people like his saving the best, where a girl, fucks around and then acts like a prude. And everybody knows that essay, and it's very good. It's very rabble-rousing. But I find the safety net, because that was where one of the guys from his old forum or So Suave things was talking about, like, the reason he likes this is not because it's some magic pill that solves all your problems, not because it prevents bad things from happening to good people or any of that malarkey. The reason he likes it is because when bad things inevitably do happen, which they do, your girlfriend will ghost you, your wife will leave you, she will cheat on you, or your kids will hate you, or something bad will always happen to you given enough time. And he goes, yeah, the point of this isn't that those things never happen, but when they do happen, it gives me a safety net. And what does he mean by that? He's like, yeah, it's like when they happen, I have a good narrative or a mental model as to why they happened. Why did my girl cheat on me? Oh, that's because, you've seen his chart about the epiphany phase and then the alpha rekindling in her 40s. She wanted to move on like that one, get another man, and there's an evil psych reason for that one, and it all makes sense. So things are happening, and sometimes there's only so much you can do about it. Another good example, the 2008 housing crisis. A lot of guys on top of the world. Hot wife, sex all the time, great family, good career. 2008 housing crisis happens, decimates the entire construction industry in the States. Some guys who are just living large through no fault of their own are now divorced and penniless. And there was nothing they did wrong. It was all outside of their control. But they understand that. And so knowing this, these things just, there's nothing you could have done. Short of like seeing a housing crisis happen and move into a different industry, which, whatever. There's always something that could be done, but for the most part, like a reasonable person without perfect information won't know this stuff. And this is what keeps guns out of people's mouths, man. Oh, okay, that's why she left. Oh, that's why it's happening. That's why all of a sudden she flipped 180 and went from loving me all the time to not, because she's bipolar. And the girls fall in love fast, and they fall out of love fast, and they get bored, and this is what happens. And he goes, yeah, so that's safety net. Why they happened, what I can do. It gives guys like a reason for things. And I think it's great. So for a lot of guys, the woe is me, why is this happening? It's like, well, here's why it's happening. Well, couldn't you have done anything about it? Not all the time. Sometimes yes, but other times no. Regardless, you're here now, so why quibble about that anyway? I think it's great. It truly underlies this as like the last ditch effort to keep men from going all South Korean. You know what I mean? And then buffers. A lot of guys really fight hard. Like, for the most part, any relationship guy who finds his way to the red pill, he doesn't want a harem. He doesn't want to be swimming in poon. He doesn't want like a mistress. He just wants his wife to suck less and suck more. You know what I mean? So for buffers, a lot of these guys, they aren't picking up on very, very obvious cues that their women are creating sexual buffers. And that's because women don't reject men. They don't like it. Because men are violent and evil, and you tell us, like, no sex for you, we're going to get stabby. So instead, they invent rules of the universe to kind of put things in the way. Cock blockers, kids, first great example. This whole, if you ever spend any time on mommy Twitter or mommy Substack or any of the mommy bloggers, you will see there is a huge group of women that are swear by co-sleeping versus not co-sleeping. Co-sleeping is where you have the kids in the bed with you. And you read it, everybody's got their reasons and their analyses and their neuroticisms, and none of it matters. Ultimately, the parents that want to co-sleep are the moms that don't want to fuck their husbands. And the women that are making the effort to get the kid out of the bedroom as fast as possible are the ones that do. Everything else is just bullshit. That's one example of a buffer. I don't remember if it was Rolo's. Let me see. Was it Rolo's that had that one about the pillow forts? No, he had like let's just be friends, long distance relationships, shit like that. Oh, and porn. All right, yeah. Well, there was one. It was great where this guy was just bitching one day. He's like, "Dude, my wife has like a dozen pillows on the bed, and then every time before we go to bed, she places them between us like a fucking pillow fort." And it's like, and obviously you could just climb over the pillows and then try to sleep with her. It's like, yeah, well, it's kind of letting you know the buffer's there. Now, what do you do with this information? Well, that depends on what you're trying to achieve, where you're at. I mean, that's the whole reason for a workshop, because that's not an easy answer. The answer might be to ditch her and find a more willing girl. The answer might be to be more attractive and be less unattractive, be more intimate throughout the day and less, needy. Might be stop talking so much, stop acting unattractive. Might be lose 20 pounds. Who knows? Could be all of the above. What do you want? Where are you starting? It's all the details, man. Hey, what's up, Douglas? I hear, by the way, you got a new book coming out soon. A little birdie told me. I mean, technically you told me in one of the group chats, so I'm looking forward. I'm making an effort to start liking fantasy. So you're probably going to be my delicious tacos of knights in armor. All right. Funny enough, one of the guys I reference more often than anything with this stuff is the Ultimate CAD. It's not Ultimate CAD, it's Ultimate CAD. I don't know why he did it that way, but yeah, Ultimate CAD. One of the ones that comes up so often, and I didn't expect it, I really didn't, is that your wife is not on your team. A lot of guys have this, and it's one of those subtle mental models that we don't even think about, but ultimately do screw us over, where you think your wife and you are on the same team. We're on the same team. We're together. We're like, yeah, ride or die bitches. And I'm all for it. Like, don't get me wrong. I got a ride or die bitch myself. But you have to keep in the back of your mind, your wife is not on your team. And what do I mean by that? If she was on your team, there's a sacrificial nature in that. Like if I'm on somebody's team, if it's a sports team, I'm diving at something. I might take an injury to protect a teammate. If I'm a brawler and somebody goes after my center on the ice, I'm going to start throwing down. Sacrifice. Teamwork is sacrifice. Same thing in a marriage. Guys will do that. Oh, dude, we'll sacrifice for our wives all the time. We're just built that way. Women are not on your team. They're not. And that's okay. So, like, what do you mean, though? She's there and we're loyal, and what's going on? Well, it's because you have aligned interests. And I think if you understand the distinction, that's going to be important. Well, why is that important? Because then you realize, who she is. You realize what her nature is. And like the old adage goes, don't love women for what they can't be, or don't hate women for what they can never be. Love them for what they are. And in this case, you realize it. Yeah, dude, you're married to a girl. She's living high on the wedding. She gets to have the top tier man. She gets to look like a flex to all of her friends. Your interests are aligned. You have a family together. She's got a dad around. You get raise kids together. Interests are aligned. There's situations where your interests aren't aligned. And in that case, like, to keep a relationship together then appeals to self-interest. Do you know how many women leave? Not because they didn't love their man or some other teamwork shit, but just because he's gained weight, become so unattractive, and she's still attractive and she has options. She has options. You mean to tell me if I have to constantly work out and eat right or my wife will leave me? Is that such the worst thing in the world to be held to some kind of standard, sir? And there's this too. And to be fair, a lot of it, here's the thing. So like Crom's right here. For one strategy to succeed, the other has to be compromised. Keep in mind, this doesn't mean you have to give up. Sometimes you can align your interests, even though it's not ideal. Families are the perfect example. As a guy, if you want to go to your perfect Evo psych sexual strategy, it's to have a harem of women and just knock them all up and not even care. That is the ultimate male sexual strategy. Play the field forever. Knock up as many women as you can. Genghis Khan that shit. Well, maybe you want to have a family. You want to get married. You want to have some kids. Well, you know what? That's technically compromising your sexual strategy. Is that the worst thing on earth? Maybe some guys want that. Maybe they just want one. Maybe they want two. Maybe they're done. Of course, the girls early on in their life, they get that too, where they're passed around, pump and dumped, sexual promiscuity, fire and brimstone. They're giving up their sexual strategy to hopefully lock down one of these top tier dudes. And the top tier dudes eventually decide to stop playing the field to settle down with one of these supposedly top tier women. So everybody's sacrificing. You got to sacrifice at some point. You got to sacrifice a certain time. You got to sacrifice certain people. Do it on your terms. So yeah, your wife's not on your team. Absolutely. She's not playing by the same rules as you. She's not on your team. Act accordingly. Well, that sounds a bit negative. It's not really. It's just realistic. Of course, the most common thing, and we'll take a pause on this one. I'm going to do another. Let's make fun of some more people. Who could we do? Oh, let's do a sad Clary.
You can choose your misery with some, pretty girl that, whatever, that you just... And I honestly find it
if your man
interesting
is
for you to say
seeking,
smart.
It's probably because you're not satisfying
I would
your
encourage,
man.
right, so exactly. Do not discredit intelligence of others. Please do not use that word.
But marrying or committing to? No, absolutely not. My son will, marry an accountant. Not one of my sons would I allow to even date one of you girls. Because you don't shut up. It has been fun. It has been an honor. We're going hiking.
Yes. I always love that one. All right. The most important one that I've always pointed out is, and this is usually one of the earliest things, is the 3 dysfunctional captains and first officers. It's such a great mental model. I think I was talking with Nick about this when we were doing, was it Dread Frame? I can't even remember anymore. Dude, I'm mixing books together now. I'm finally at the I've forgotten more about this than you'll ever know phase, and it's making me feel senile. I don't like it. But what had happened is the guy who coined the term was this guy Jack Tenneharts, and he noticed because after a couple hundred guys start coming in with their sob stories, you start to we're categorization creatures, we're pattern matching ones. So you start to realize there's 3 broad categories, and he's right. Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 captains. The first type is the drunk captain with a pissed first officer. And yeah, the first officer model, it's Rollo's right. You can't have a first officer with mutiny. She's not on your team, but it works for this. The idea is your wife actually does want to love you, and she does want to have a great relationship with you, but you've, got a drug habit, you do nothing all day, you lost your job, whatever, and now it's basically saying, yeah, get your shit together and everything will fall back into place. Surprisingly common with all the talk of guys who are all, oh, the women in these days don't want this, and the MGTOW and the black pill and all that. No, it actually turns out just get your shit together and you can carve out a pretty decent relationship, exceptions aside. We're talking like, 60, 70, 80% people. Just get your shit together. Be good looking. Don't be unattractive. Have a direction you're taking in life. Have a decent amount of game. You'll be fine. I find that to be absolutely heartwarming in all of this world of like, oh, the dating is the worst it's ever been. Well, that's funny. Well, the standards haven't changed. Have a career. Be optimistic about your future. Have a vision. Look good. Smell nice. Talk well. You'll be fine. That's it. I mean, what more were you expecting? It's people. Women have horrible taste. Do you know how hard it is to find somebody who's half-ass decent in the land of pieces of shit? The mild piece of shit is king. Where am I going with this one? Oh, I gotta lose my comments. I don't lose the super chats. I see your super chat. I'll be right there. So yeah, that one. I mean, and the solutions for there, a lot of those guys, any of the guys from Prax 4, the type that used to be Chad and then kind of lost their way, they mostly fall into that category. So that makes that easy. And they already know what success looks like. So it's very easy for them compared to. They're the ones that you always see that take less than like 6 months to a year to get their shit together. Second one, the captain, the constantly complaining passenger. That's mostly about just guys walking on eggshells. They're generally afraid of their wives and they want to coddle her. It's like this. It's the culmination of sneaky fucker sexual strategy. The one, the female ally, feminist ally thing. And that's the girl is just neurotic and she's a mess. That hamster's looking for an exit and the guy is just trying to coddle her because ultimately he wants her validation. And it's just really two type B personalities not clashing. And then type 3, super rare, but I mean it happens. The captain and her husband. And that's the one where the girl is just too proud to accept a man being a man in her life, like the girl boss feminist type. Problem is, like, women aren't, they're like, these type of women are never good enough to take the reins, but they're too proud to admit otherwise. And the guys are usually too timid because that's the type. Like some of my family is like this where, because our stepdad was, I don't want to say abusive, but like as close as you can get that line without crossing over into criminal. You know what I mean? And so a lot of girls in my family have dated very meek men. So they kind of fit that role too. So for that one, a lot of the issue is just like understand that you get your shit together. You start acting like a man. You do some sexual successful strategy stuff. You might actually lose your girl because of this, but it's not really a relationship you wanted in the first place. She might turn around, trust and whatever. But a lot of the times it's like I always mention ex-addict bro. His wife was an alcoholic. He was a pharmacist popping pills. And he's like, yeah, I can't do this to my kids. Have a bunch of fucking drug addicts in the house. Living on childhood trauma. So he got his shit together. He went clean. And the wife didn't like that. And so she left him over it for some other drug user. Timid man. It's kind of one of those hard choices you have to make. And he's like, yeah, I can't parent these kids around her. And she's got a shitty step husband. All I can do is just, when they find me, to be a good dad. And I'm not going to say it was an easy path. He probably cycled through this 3 or 4 times till he finally got his shit together. It was like a pretty tragic story, but with a good ending. But yeah, it's for a lot of guys, just like having a broad category gives them comfort knowing, okay, so I'm not the first guy who's done this. Like, no, you're not. There's been so many of these guys that we can make categories for it. And then the second part of it is, well, if it's that common, then the solutions are common too. It's like, yeah, surprisingly enough. In fact, almost all 3 guys have the same solution. The only difference is in which ones you prioritize and a couple of little details. That's about it. Okay, quick super chats and we'll move on. Is this the last day of Kickstarter Saturday? What day is it today? It's the 21st. I do believe. Oh, the last day of Kickstarter Saturday. I mean, I don't need to focus on them. We've met our goal. I'll mention it and bring it up because a lot of you guys haven't gotten there yet. I'm actually worried now. Not worried, but like, so we met the goal. It's a very modest goal, a couple grand, get the book, special release. The artist is doing his thing. Everybody's happy. My biggest risk right now is if it becomes wildly popular, like 1,000 copies kind of thing. because then that changes my entire workflow. So I kind of like don't want to advertise it anymore. But at the same time, if people are going to enjoy it, who am I to tell them not to? Because I'm too lazy to want to send out 1,000 copies on my own. It's like, I'll hire a procurement guy to do that. Well, that'll take all your profits. Like, that was the expectation of this whole thing. This whole thing was never, like, in this initial Kickstarter, it's not going to make money. And I'm fine with that. It is going to come out about even. And then everybody is going to get a magical experience. I'm like, fucking rights. How could you not want to do that? I've already got enough money to pay the bills. We don't need a cash grab. Not yet. Not until I'm about to crash out. Then answer your question. James 6656 with the 5. Son of a bitch bastard. We were doing so good too.
So the meme, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha.
Named Ryan Stone.
It says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline.
I am now concerned for my career.
And I'm still recommending
Clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just...
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
By the way, okay, I'm getting to your thing second, James. Just one sec. It is so funny in retrospect that Elijah Schaefer cheating, sleeping with Sarah Stock and doing coke and all that stuff, and everybody's all mad, and she got whored off the internet. To look at this one, I have a theory that Jack Murphy was swinging with Elijah Schaefer and his wife, and they kind of shared all their secrets to each other, and he's like, yeah, don't bring this up on the live stream. It's kind of embarrassing, and it's a very anti-trad brand, which I'm trying to grift right now. So when Sydney Watson comes there and is like, hey, what about the cuck article? He's like, you motherfucker, we agreed to this when I was blowing your wife. That's a theory. I don't know if it's true. Fucking funny if it is, and it gives that whole episode like a vibe to it that I'm just like not prepared to do. But anyways, if you have a moment, would you please play the other sad Cappy? Absolutely.
You're 45 and you can't shut up? You're the most mature one, but I saw your nipples and now we gotta worry about that. You're a criminal justice major, right? You're gonna bail out all these girls' sons right this time. You actually have a job. Long ago, she was a stripper. Okay. She put herself through college, law school doing that, became a lawyer.
If I'm gonna get in trouble and say, well, I wanna fucking hear why.
By that time, it's already tainted like this.
That is the most on-brand shit I've ever heard in my life.
Why would my son date you?
I don't want your...
You sons of bitches. Oh, that makes me laugh. All right, I think we got through all the super chats. Roswell's doing some poetry in the chat. That's always nice. Where are we at now? Oh, the most common things that have been coming up. Where did I leave off? 3 dysfunctional captains. Preventative medicine part 2. Oh, yeah. So technically, I mean, I'm not even sure how to reference this. The way I always find it is by searching the image. Articles from March 2014. Articles, Preventative Medicine Part 2, Navigating the SMV, Coolers Play. You know what's funny about this? The reason I reference this article always at this is because of like the 2 charts. And I hate charts and I hate graphs. And the one thing I really wish Rollo would have done was to take the numbers out of it, because they are not descriptive charts. They're illustrative charts. If you don't know the difference, a descriptive chart is saying like at X do Y, you know, numerical. Think of like an actual mathematical graphed out math equation, parables and shit. An illustrative chart isn't meant to, like, when a girl is 25, 27, she hits the wall, she's at this phase. It's kind of like, these are the phases people go through. The year doesn't so much matter, but the sequence is broadly correct. Like young in life, super hot, older in life, not super hot. There's a time where like value drops off precipitously. That's the wall. Yeah, you get it, right? So the two charts in this one, and everybody knows the one. It's the SMV and age chart, the one where women peak early and drop off a cliff early. They burn the candle at both ends when it comes to their looks. Men, on the other hand, slow burn until like their mid-30s, and then they peak later and they decline gradually. Wonderful chart. It's probably had more internet traffic than any other chart in the history of mankind. I'd say it's like up there with FBI crime statistics and that chart of the USA that always looks the same. I put the Rational Male SMV chart as number 3. But the one I actually reference in this one isn't so much that one. Most of this guy's like, yeah, we get it. That's fine. 35-year-olds aren't as hot as 20-year-olds, and a 35-year-old man is hotter than a 20-year-old. I get it. It's the second one. The epiphany phase one. That's the alpha short term, beta long term, alpha reinterest stuff. And he puts phases on it, which, look, all it is when a woman is like 18 to 30, they are in their party years and they just want to, have the hot sex with the cool guys at the Cancun foam party, as Rolo's boomerisms suggest. As opposed to like my generation was like, yeah, they just want to do MDMA at the rave and sleep with the dude with dreadlocks. And then whatever the kids nowadays are referencing, they just want the guy who hits himself in the cheekbones with a hammer while doing SSRIs. And then when they settle down and they get baby rabies, they're more attracted to all those beta qualities, and they want a family and they want stability and whatever. And then around the age the kids turn 5 to 7 years old, they start liking that Cancun foam party rave scene again, and they start getting back into liking the alpha males. And there's a evo psych reason for that. I guess from a survival standpoint, women that were able to move and have multiple kids with multiple partners decrease their risk of diseases wiping out the whole family and that sort of thing. And the difference doesn't have to be great. If you put it across hundreds of thousands, millions of people, a small difference in survivability can percolate through the population pretty quickly. But that doesn't really matter. For guys, what you have to know is this just means, okay, the phase of life you're in generally will affect how women find you attractive. You ever had those guys, you're growing up and they're like, yeah, for some reason, older women just love me. I'm a relationship guy. And it's like, yeah, that's why. The girls who are in their post-wall comfort phase, they love guys who are extremely comfortable. They like guys who have a predominance of beta categories. If you're that Christian guy who worked your whole life and finally at 30 she wanted to settle down and have a family with you, yeah, I did it, I survived. It's like, no, you didn't. Her needs changed, and now your game fits within that. Same reason why the party guys. I don't get it, man. He was the coolest guy in the 20s and he never did settle down. It's like, yeah, that's why. He's the kind of thing that is super attractive to like post-wall women and young women. But those mid ones that want families, they tend not to like him. And if you're in a relationship with a girl, I've been like me with my girl, we were first dating, wink wink, when she was 19. We didn't start like seriously actually dating until she was like 23. She was just a plate before then, and we were both doing our things. That's fine. I don't even remember how many years it's been. But we always joke, it's like, oh, it's 13 years ago. Oh, it's 15 years ago. It's 30 years ago. However long it's been. And then, yeah, you watch her go from party girl to, this and that and the other thing. And a lot of guys do that too, where they got their family. Their kids are like 7 years old. All of a sudden the wife's acting weird. It's like, well, yeah, she's in this phase. So, yeah, when it comes to the things you're doing, all those nice, comfortable beta behaviors you're doing are no longer as attractive as the hot stuff you used to do. So it's time to start getting back into that stuff. Start being more selfish. Start getting into this. Super useful, because a lot of guys and it turns out that's their relationship issue. It's not so much that, women are always whores or anything like that. It's just she's changing from one phase to another, and you're slow to catch on. So a lot of times it's like, hey, just so you know, here's the list of alpha traits and qualities. Here's a list of beta traits and qualities. As your kids get to be about 5, 7 years old and older, you're going to notice a predominance of these are now more attractive and a predominance of these are now less attractive. Start changing your behaviors. Well, I'm not changing it for her. It's like, you're not changing it for her. You're changing it to get a goal. It's one of those things. Very interesting. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to save this last one here. It's a good one. but I'm saving it until the end. All right. You mean to tell me women have a dual mating strategy? Oh, dude. And that's, honestly, I can't complain about it because, like, my profession is based on it. Every guy I have ever talked to about red pill, online or off, whatever, will know these things. Women have the dual mating strategy. They can riff off the iron rules of Tomasi, top of their head, all 48 laws of power, stuff like that. But for some reason, I'm sure there's some neurological reason to explain why, but guys can say the platitude and understand the platitude on an intellectual level and then have no ability to apply it on their actual life. It is a baffling thing from the human condition that I cannot explain. Best example of this, you wouldn't believe how many field reports I've read over the years where a guy is like, I have frame now, I'm doing dread well, I am alpha, like all like proclaim. It's like on a resume. Remember on resumes where people like don't show or don't tell but show? People talk about it like it's a resume. Yeah, I'm now the top earner at this stuff, and then it's like, well, explain to me how did your thing work? How is it you became better with frame? And then the next sentence is them describing themselves completely buckling and having no frame, or how their dread involves basically just like negotiating desire with their wife. And it's not even like we haven't made the metric that I just told you I was hitting. It's always the exact opposite. Almost like we're trying to convince ourselves we're good. Remember that Simpsons? Oh, it's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good. Yeah, for some reason, talking the talk and walking the walk are like a unconnected set of skills. Which really sucks, by the way, from like a brand reputation aspect. That's why you have 500,000 retards online calling themselves fucking alpha males, doing the most simpest shit ever. I don't get it. I said I was alpha male. I read all the books. How come it didn't just manifest? Like, this ain't the goddamn secret, man. Why do you think Chesty is so adversarial, acerbic, and curmudgeon-y? Why do you think I'm just a jaded asshole on this stuff? It's like, I am tired of you guys lying to yourselves and then asking me to validate that for you. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. So yeah, and to be fair, it's one of the more rewarding things. One of the more rewarding things is when you see a guy when he gets it. Oh, dude, it is. There's not many better feelings in the world. I'm biased on this one because I've always said that in my military time, my most rewarding military experiences have been my time at fleet school. They weren't deploying. They weren't training. They weren't when I was working hard and playing hard. They weren't any of that stuff. It was literally, like, I remember the exact moment where I've never been more proud. I think I've told you the story before, the one where I caught the flu. I was teaching I think it was my first class. I've had 3 classes altogether, 6 months a pop. And I was teaching my first class, and I got sick one day. I try not to get sick. I hate getting sick. And so Marty, my P2, he was my boss. And I'm like, Marty, I'm sick. I can't come into work. I've got like the flu. Can you teach my class for me today? He's like, what are you teaching? And I give him the lesson plan. I'm like, we're at this plan, doing this one. He goes, all right, I got it. He gets in there. Things weren't to his liking. To be fair, Marty was never a very good teacher anyway. He didn't know what he was doing. So I think my fault was I had the audacity to get sick without giving him a paint by numbers teaching plan, which fair. So he starts bitching about me. And I remember the students, he had to leave because they were like threatening to beat the shit out of him for talking shit to me in class. And I was like, that's wonderful. And he did a whole bunch of other stuff, like in a class. So my boss, his boss, the senior instructor, calls me and it's like, yeah, I don't care if you're sick, get in here. It's like, you keep Marty away from them. Technically, they were like, it's a chargeable offense to be threatening a senior non-commissioned officer, but they just kind of like, we're going to let all this shit slide, get back in there. I don't care if you're sick. Because they didn't like Marty either. And it's like, I don't want to deal with the paperwork. It's like, I find fair enough. I come in looking sick as a dog. It was we had like a good laugh over it. And I'm like, I'm not going to talk shit about my peers. You always have a unified wall there, but it was always very funny. Then at the course party, they bought me drinks. So I'm like, I'm supposed to buy all you guys drinks. They're like, yeah, we had one day with Marty. If you had to deal with that for 6 months, I'm like, of course I did. It's like, it's my whole job as a master seaman is to keep shit from rolling downhill. And for the most part, get everything out of your way so you guys can do your job. That's the job. This one also funny, also true. Yeah, it's nice to see guys winning. Anyways, yeah, so like watching a guy get it, and it's the most rewarding thing. You'll see some guy reinvent an iron rule of Tomasi from first principles, like rooting through the garbage, or the 3 different captains, or understanding what frame means, but they don't actually equate it to the platitude. They just describe it in their own words. And then when you hear it, you're like, oh, so, and then you describe the platitude, and then they make the connection, like, oh, now I get it. Dude, it's fucking wonderful. I can only imagine that if there's good teachers out there in anything, I can explain a binary tree to a guy until he's actually programmed one. He doesn't understand it. Like in any occupation, it's probably an equivalent to this. Engineering, I guarantee you there's engineers out there who have heard all kinds of great engineering, things that they have to work out, a whole bunch of mathematical rules and a bunch of theory and a bunch of law. And then one day they actually learn it when they're building their fucking spaghetti bridge or something. And the engineering teacher's probably like, thank God they're getting it. Yeah, God, man, I went through all the things. Mad, red pill to friends, all of it. That's the other one. There actually isn't a solid red-pilled essay or field report on the don't red pill your friends thing. I think Ghost of Odessa is so far going to be the only red-pilled piece of material out there when it comes out next month about not red-pilling your friends. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I don't think I am. I'll probably end up writing one of these things on my own and putting it on the Substack, which if you haven't joined, do join. Even if it's just the free one, that's how you get updates on everything. And I put most of the material up front anyway. But yeah, everybody always thinks like I've saved myself, I sorted myself out, I did all this work. I'm going to help this guy because he clearly needs it. And the worst part is, it's like, you're not wrong. Part of it is from a good place. It's like, yeah, I helped me. Why can't I help you? When they don't want to be helped. It's like the joke that Carl used to say way back in the day. Rollo, amazingly good at being red-pilled towards women, but absolutely horrible at being red-pilled towards men. And it's the same thing there. You know that whole like, she doesn't want to be saved, bro? The guys are like, oh, she's a whore, but I can make a good woman out of her and get burned from it. And guys learn this one. Yeah, she wants to be a hoe. Just let her be a hoe. You're not gonna save her. She has to want to be saved. She doesn't want to be saved. She wants to have fun. And then we can understand that for women. But when it comes to guys, we for some reason forget because we just assume, well, I mean, I'm a guy. I wanted to be saved. Why wouldn't he? They don't, man. Heck, most of you guys, almost all of you guys, the ones who have truly gotten your shit together, didn't have like a mentor or a coach or a couch or any of that shit. Most of you guys, I mean, a lot of you guys are, but a lot, like for the 2,000 so that watch these things every week, a majority of you, we have never talked, ever. You've never gone to a coaching session. You've never gone to a workshop. You've never been to a conference. None of this. You might not have even read the books, and that's fine. I'm not shitting on you for that at all. Most people do this as a solo thing, and they have to want to. And that's okay. That's okay. It's one I don't reference much, but I actually really do like. It was from Chesty, of all people. He goes, don't get mad at Bob Vila. And that's the last. I think that's the last article I'm going to take. We're going to do some vibe sessioning after this. Don't be mad at Bob Vila. I loved that one because he was talking about how I don't remember who the second guy was. There was another home improvement guy who was like very technical and whatever, and then Bob Vila was the guy who was like made it simple. And everybody was shitting on Bob Vila. Bob Vila being like the metaphor for red-pilled influencers. I hate the name, but it's the best I got. He goes, yeah, just because he took, like, guys like me, I'm just using me on this one, Tim Taylor. No, not Tim Taylor. Just because he took, like, 10 years of scouring forums and doing all this work and stuff like that and simplified it so you didn't have to go through all that effort, don't get mad at him for making something accessible. And the big argument was whether, like, making it accessible is what makes it less effective or not. I don't know. Like, you've heard my thoughts on it. I'm kind of, like, of two minds on it. On one point, making things easier and digestible and more organized is ultimately a good thing. But at the same point, the guys that I've seen do the best with this stuff were the ones that had to basically do it the hard way. So to my answer, I don't know. But he goes, yeah, don't get mad at Bob for doing that. And it turns out most of the guys aren't mad because they think Bob Vila is ruining the process. Like, no, you have to do it the hard way or it's just not going to be as valuable. It's mostly because they're like, I had to do it the hard way, therefore you do too. You know that whole attitude? My dad beat me, so I have to beat you or you're not going to be a man. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if that works. Call it a hunch. I don't think it does. I think it's just your way of saying, I want somebody to have fun times and beers with about, hey, remember when our dads used to beat us? It's like, yeah, Dad, I do. Which is horrific. Horrific. Oh, I see your follow-up. All right, we'll leave that there so I don't forget about it. See, I don't get mad at Bob Vila. Having said that, there's a lot of shitty Bob Vilas out there, man. Oh, man. Ego defense, basically. That makes sense. Covert, it's good to see you again, sir. All right, Mountain Man tops $4.99 on Troy and Tusk. It was thoughts on their game content. So, like, their game content and their video content are actually two different types of content. And yeah, I know they're kind of sort of related, but like, hear me out here. Because Troy actually pops up a lot on my YouTube and like shorts and normal ones where he does his little walking through the town, talking about game stuff and the general mentality things. They're peripheral to his game material. They kind of remind me a lot of, what's that guy's name? RSD, the fat one. Owen or Tyler. I always get them mixed up. Anyways, he just sits around the California hills talking about like random feeling, train of thought, brain dump shit. And it's woo-woo and it's magical and it's whatever. And I never liked it. But it keeps people's attention. It's very easy on the ears. It's something you can have in the background while you're doing your stuff, and that's fine. I can't fault it because what the hell am I doing here if not the same thing? But if you go to read RSD stuffs on Inner Game, it's actually very effective. Inner Game's the stuff that's attractive that doesn't involve peacocking or like, it's more so internal motivation stuff. Troy, same thing. Like their actual game work, like I said, the London Day Game model and Troy stuff, absolutely good for what it does. Absolutely effective. I'm sure you've already heard the training wheels argument stuff already, so I won't get past that. But then when you watch the content, it's going to be different. It's more of a meta. It's more of like talking about like your attitude towards it. Sometimes it's reassurances. Sometimes it's rabble-rousing. Sometimes it's calls to action. Sometimes it's defining an outgroup and then vilifying the outgroup for in-group loyalty. There's a whole marketing thing on there. So as long as you understand the game being played, it's like if you're on a sports field. You know that coach gives you that rabble-rousing speech? The Patriots suck. We're going to kick their ass. We're going to do this. And you know he's just like pep talking you, but you feed off the energy. The video content's a lot of that. But the work, yeah. Would I recommend it? Obviously. Thing is, though, it's like I can't blanket recommend it. It's for the guy who needs that. Like, how do I talk to girls during the day, hopefully get dates out of from that? From a guy who needs that specific problem, I'd say absolutely. Troy's pretty good for it. I'd say you do well for it. If you want to go to the bars and do your thing, if those even exist anymore, I know in Canada they've closed down because COVID and Trudeau and fuck off. I would say probably go with the mystery method thing. Using some day game stuff in the night, probably not as effective. Then you got guys like John who has a lot of like picking the girls up off of social media stuff, which I'm like, fuck, give her. You want to pick up off of Instagram, go for it. That might be useful there. That sexual assaulting Indian guy, if you want to get like in good with club promoters and shit, I'd say go for that, sure. It's all about what are you trying to do, right? Plus, he's been around for like 20 years. You don't do this for 20 years. I don't care how long you've been grifting for. If you've been grifting and you don't live in like a third world shithole that takes no money to survive, he lives in the UK for fuck's sakes. He travels. If you can last 20 years in that kind of environment, you have to be good. At least good enough. It's not like he moved to Brazil where you can live off of $20 a day in your favela. All right, let's do some more shit and stuff.
We know that these videos really prey on vulnerable young men who have not had many experiences in dating.
We got to start to focus on the more important stuff now. We got to shift gears here. I don't want to do these pissing contests and, well, you know, people keep throwing out this bet. I mean, you guys all know this stuff already. I mean, Colty never accepted it. Colty's just like a piece of shit. I mean, basically that's what it is. He's a piece of shit. And if people want to question my honor and integrity, that's okay. Most of the people who do this stuff don't have any integrity. I'm not deleting my account because of that guy, Seth. I broke those contracts about a week and a half ago, and whatever, people are going to get pissed off at me. I don't care if they're going to get pissed off at me.
I almost am sad that he blocked me. If he was smart at marketing, he would keep me around for like a foil. I'm like the Kramer in his apartment, not the Laugh Factory Kramer, like the Kramer in Seinfeld Kramer. Walks in, says some goofy shit. He could be, look at this evil red pill guy talking smack about your glorious leader. If he was smart, he'd have gone that route. Instead, he's like, I can't have this guy laughing at me for going to jail. Fuck that guy. Well, I'm like, that's fine, man. I don't need you here to talk shit about you. Most of you just point and sputter anyway. What are you going to do? Call me a degenerate? That degenerate man who's gone to jail 100% less than me and has a woman 100% the same as mine, twice as long. It's really hard to talk shit about a guy when he's living like a nice life. All right. We're switching to the vibes session of the story. Alpha AK $10 1 cent. There's that penny. I think we all turned out okay. There's this guy in Toronto, Canada, who talks about his pee-pee in every episode of his podcast in fiction and non-fiction books. Pretty good at articulation. Done me well. Nice. Wait a minute. Something was said. Well, and he called me slow. I don't believe I talk about my dick in every episode. It's like 60% max. 60% of the time, it works all the time. Yeah, the only people talking about integrity are those without it. This is one of those things, too. You know how I always joke about, like, the red pill is you come here to get laid and you leave with the understanding of the human condition. It's one of those ones that I kind of knew but never could articulate until it was articulated to me. This one here. Like, this is the same as the last chapter in Fuck Files. You know we're not having sex tonight, right? When you understand the reason people are saying things as opposed to the things that they're saying. If you want to jump back to when I was talking about open and closed communications. So in this case, he's right. When everybody starts talking about how much integrity they have, it's like if you have integrity, the last thing you need to talk about is integrity. You don't even think about it. Fish don't think about water. Fucking Nick. I just don't understand why we have to talk about an editing session. You son of a bitch bastard. I told you that in confidence. I told you that in confidence. See? All right, so long story short, I'm making this all up, but it's funny as hell if it was true. I was talking about how I love the Hardy Boys and Frank W. Dixon. And then Nick explains to me that that actually wasn't a person of that. They just used that as a name for every author who ever wrote a Hardy Boys book. I ended up calling him a cunt. And then he got mad at me. He slipped 18 typos into Softbone. He's like, there, he'll never find those because he can't read. Anyways, joke's on him. I got ChatGPT to read it, and I found them. And we've had a falling out ever since. Then it turns out he's right, but I'm too proud to admit that Frank W. Dixon is not a real person. Actually, in fairness, here's a real one. It was actually pretty funny. I have a mutual on Substack I follow. She's a writer. She works with that Kristen chick that we've dealt with before. She's a black girl. She's very like lefty black on that side, but she's so much fun to talk to anyway. And there's these like these type of Substack posts that everybody uses. That was kind of taking the piss with. Where my favorite authors are, and people pick like these very obscure, dense authors that nobody like Dostoevsky and blah blah blah, and then some other random person. I'm like, I'm just gonna play this one. Like, you know, my favorites are like Palanchuk, which I never spell right, Frank W. Dixon, and I think I picked somebody who did like the Berenstain Bears or something like that. And then she started ripping into it. And then Nick kind of had his little joke on there. And yeah, this whole thing kind of escalated. It was just so funny because it looked like Nick was just some Yahoo coming in to argue and bitch and moan about stuff. And then she was throwing shade at him, expecting me to pile on. And then I kind of let her go for a while because she thought that Nick was just some stupid redneck who didn't know how to read. And then he's like, actually, I've got a fucking master's and I used to teach this at university. And I was like, she goes, fuck you, Ryan. I'm like, yeah. It was worth it just to watch into this, all pedantic and shit. Anyways, I probably muddled that story to shit, but it was funny just watching somebody just shitting on somebody being retarded, and then you find out they're more qualified than you. It was very funny to watch. Anyways, no harm, no foul. Everybody had a good time. We're all still friends. Yeah, but the people with integrity don't talk about integrity. When a woman's like, yeah, you know, we're not having sex tonight, right? It's like, all you can take from that is like, she was definitely thinking about having sex tonight and doesn't want to think she's a whore. Anybody who's sitting here talking about being authentic or having integrity, they have serious doubts in their own mind, either rightfully or not, whether they have integrity or authenticity, and decide to tell you that. And that was like the big red pill takeaway for me. Like I said, once I articulated, I knew how to look for it more, which was great. When somebody starts telling you who they are, they're kind of telling you who they want to be. Which I guess explains that whole, well, I have frame now, and I have this, and I have that. And then they describe themselves not having frame or this and that in the field reports. I guess when people tell you what they have as an identity, they don't have it. They want it. And they figure if they say it, it'll happen. It doesn't. So misunderstood. Son of a bitch. Shout out to Nick August, everybody. He's here all week. Oh, speaking of which, yeah. So now that like I've been actually slowing down on the book writing. I want to do 4 this year. I've only got 2 so far. I want to get another 2 done before end of year. But I was like mostly marketing on Jake Long, so I haven't really been writing, but I do have an outline. We're gonna have another one coming out in, I don't know, probably the summer, hopefully. It's like a sequel to The Dog Walker. That one's gonna be fun, I think. It should be good. Another first-person telling. So if you like that one, you'll like this one. Still surprised. Well, surprised but not surprised how The Dog Walker is still doing as well as it is. Because I did the stupid thing where I came out with 2 at the same time, so Softbone and Dog Walker. So I didn't really have time to market Dog Walker. So I just kind of let it do its thing. And it's outselling still Softbone. And I've done nothing but yap about how great Softbone is. And it is. My guess is that Dog Walker, like women can read that. And so women are reading that. And then women are enjoying it. So that's kind of funny. Am I going in on Rule 0? I don't know yet. I have to see. I have to go to Costco. But if traffic's bad, we might put it off. So have to go to Costco. Hey, fucking enroll. Nice. Yeah, so it's just one of those funny things. It's just one that's done good. I truly love the art for it. I'm so glad that Ray, he actually gave me all the original paintings for Dog Walker. So all the original art, I've got it sitting on a shelf right now. I want to frame it, but I'm out of walls in my house. Remember all those masks I was telling you about before? Yeah, they're everywhere. Like my place, I'll eventually do like a house tour. I don't want to, but maybe. My 24 masks or so I have lying around the house. I've also got some of my own art back when I was an artist. And my big ones are these 3 2x4 wall panels. It's like a fresco. It's abstract art. I could explain it, but it'd be so boring. So between those and the masks, and then when the girl and I went to Chicago, we went to see the museum there, the Museum of Modern Art. We picked up a whole bunch of Liechtensteins. Amsterdam, because I couldn't find a mask in Amsterdam. We ended up picking up a bunch of art for there too. So the places that I couldn't get art, I tended to have paintings. The point is, yeah, it's like the walls are just full. There's not a spare wall in that. We had 1 spare wall in the house, and I put a mirror on it. So yeah. No, but the cocksucker cheated. They've been putting lead weights inside the fish to make them weigh more, and I feel like I had it stolen from me. I understand what Trump feels like when Biden stole his election with those 80 million votes now. So my plan is in 4 years, I'm going to take it over, and then we're going to kick everybody out of the Bass Fishing Pro Tour. Oh. You're going to hit up Bed Bath & Beyond and Home Depot. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I'll have you know I'm picking up 8 kilograms of beef. How does that make you feel? Is that manly now? Come on, man. Let me have my boring pedestrian life. I love it. I don't do it much, but I'm like, I've been through some shit in life, and I'm not saying it to brag or be a victim or anything like that. I'm just saying, once I hit my mid-30s, I was like, you know what I want right now? I want to be bored. I want a boring life. I want casual. I like waking up in the morning, putting on a Haircuts for Man track, I get up before the sun in the winter. Just let dawn hit me while I'm drinking a coffee. I love simple life shit now. I do. I'm actually worried, like if I ever get divorced or separated or whatever common laws do and end up being my own, like I don't think I'm going to go play in the field and getting out there being like a pickup artist or anything. I think I'm just going to go hide in the woods. Sit in my place, my well-decorated apartment, and just let me sit here till I die. I'm fine. By then the dogs will be gone, so I'll have to get a new dog, but I'll find another one. There's dogs everywhere if you just look behind every dumpster. Which sucks because, like, from a business perspective, what I should be doing is if I ever get separated or anything, I should be out there. It's like, dude, picking up 20-year-old harems, blah, blah, blah. You know, getting into a fight with Clavicar on TV or whatever the fuck. Getting some of that Palantir money. I guess, what's his face? Who's the gay guy who did the Gawker thing again? Why am I drawing a blank at his name? The guy who did PayPal. That's not Elon. You got to get stacked up on protein. I get it. Dude, my luxury purchases are so... Thiel, thank you. Peter Thiel. Get some of that Peter Thiel money. Go fight Clavicar and Zerka. Fucking rights, man. Couch, you and Brett the Hitman Hart have contributed more to the color pink. Dude, he was part of my inspiration, man. I like the idea of, like, he's like one of the manliest men ever, and he's just hot pink coming out there. What the fuck you gonna do? Plus, it really works well with a darker complexion. But yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't buy much anymore. I have, like, G Fuel, Zin, expensive whiskeys, which in Canada, that's mostly taxes, so it's not as cool as it sounds. And then, like, protein powder, creatine. That's it. I have, like, 6 containers full of powders. And that's my life right now, and I'm happy with that. Spend money on... This hat was only $20, so I didn't have to spend a lot there. Dude, I feel like I am the Brit Hitman Hart of the Red Pill. Not because I was any good at wrestling. I'm okay, but I'm not great. I'm good enough that if you're not good, it's good. But as soon as you're good, it's not that good. But in the sense, like in the later years of Bret Hitman shoots, I feel like I'm the Bret Hitman here. It's like, Hogan was a fucking idiot. Rolo's like my Stone Cold Steve Austin, where I talk about how good our matches were and how good of a worker you were. But then it's like, you get to the John Anthonys and Anthony Johnsons, and I'm just talking about them the way he talks like about fucking Goldberg. Was the hat a write-off? Of course the hat's a write-off. Dude, you've seen Canadian taxes. I write off everything. If it's on camera, I've written it off. That is a $100 bottle of Pusser's rum behind me. Bought that in my first foreign port, drank it in my retirement. Not very good, but it was a pretty good tradition. So it was like, I had it for like 12, 13 years. And I don't know what that does to rum to make it better or worse, but it was aged 12 years in that thing. And now I got the container. Do I wear cool shades like Hitman? Of course I wear cool shades like Hitman. Have you seen the glasses I bring onto these stupid streams? Like, yeah, I got these yellow aviators, but I've also got a bunch of sunset ones. There's like a pink and green one. There's a blue and purple one. And then I got like the gas station reflective rim ones that look like Zach Morris. I love how Brett trashes Goldberg. Of course, I mean, to be fair, if somebody gave me a concussion and ended my career, I'd be talking mad shit about them too. Mad shit about them. Yeah, tons of those. Tons of pink shirts, tons of Hawaiian shirts. I realized, I look at my closet now, and it used to be when I first moved to Toronto, I had like 6 suits, 25 ties, 7 or 8 dressed. And then slowly over time, that has slowly been Hawaiianized to the point now that all of my suits are sitting in a bag somewhere in the closet, vacuum sealed bag. All the ties are in that same bag. And and one of my favorite Hawaiian shirts, I don't know why I bought it. I mean, I do know why, but I don't know why I still have it. It's like one with Miller Lite cans. I don't wear that one nearly enough. I really should. It's like just perfect. It's just the I don't give a fuck theme song. I don't even drink Miller Lite. Exactly. You call that a grift? This is a grift. Anyways, so we're winding this thing down. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Like I said, I've been thinking back to those one comments that were on a couple videos ago about why are these just vibe sessions now? These would be great as like a structured thing, and they used to be structured. I have a lot of like very well structured videos, and they still do well. They're evergreen, but I just hate the idea of repeating myself. Like, everything's been said, everything's done. I do like the idea of moving on past that, and I don't want to turn this completely into just talking about movies and books and shit, so I try to keep it like as a grab bag variety session. A little bit of red pill, a little bit of writing, a little bit of movies, and a little bit of just talking shit about retards, because God knows the internet just provides so many of them. And that's, as much as we're like, oh, the internet's depressing and doomer and blah, yeah, that's true, but do you know, like, in the 90s, we never had infinite retards. Like, there was some retards. There was a couple people in your town, and you made fun of them, and maybe on TV there'd be one retard, and you're like, this guy's Pauly Shore sucks, or whatever. But, like, after a month, you really did run out of material. Once a year they gave you a new one, that was it. But now it's like, dude, I can't even keep up. Like, I've been poking fun at Clavicar, but I don't know anything about him. I know somebody said he hit himself in the head with a hammer to make his bones stronger, which I'm like, I like Gattaca, so I think that's kind of cool. Isn't that great? Apparently he's sterile, and he is big on looks maxing, but I can't tell if he's doing it as a clown or sincerely, so I'm like, I'm not going to look into it and care. I just know the name, and I'll just make fun of him, and it seems to work. For some reason, all this stuff is so derivative that just tell me a person's name and send me a screenshot, and I can usually build up an entire like laugh track on them, and it works. I would call this a graft. And it's just knowing that it's there sometimes just makes you feel with joy. Like how Lauren Southern, now that she's blocked all of us, is on Substack now, and there's nothing funnier than watching like the influence grifter class go on to Substack and try and write. I haven't read a word of it. I just see the titles. Every essay she writes now is the way, like, if you ever go on Facebook and you ever seen like divorced single moms writing their vague post shit with like a picture of a sunset or a forest on the back with like a "don't let any man tell you," like it's always like hinting at that she was getting abused, but it's always built as like a platitude. It's like every one of her posts are that, and I'm like, holy shit, she has turned the fucking disastrous single mom Facebook meme into a personal brand, and like kudos to her. I don't know why she's doing it. I fully expect in 5 years that Sarah Stock chick's gonna be doing the same thing. How Elijah Schaefer's ruined my brand and all the secrets you guys need to know about their career, and you find out, oh my god, all the influencers were on coke. Yeah, I already knew that with the Stefan Molyneux crew. Whatever. He's the looks maxer of looks maxers. I have noticed this. The one thing I will say about the Clavicar thing is there's like a meme format going around now where people are making fun of all the lingo, like the jester maxing goon mogging, where it just sounds like an incomprehensible sentence, and they're just talking about, like, they'll put, like, they had one of Obama next to, like, Omar Gaddafi talking about being looks maxed and mogged. And, like, I find that hilarious, because I'm like, oh, so we're at the point now where everybody's just having fun with this. Like, they're completely taking the piss. They don't take it seriously. I feel really bad for the guys who took the Clavicar years, like, this years here seriously, because now they're getting their Amrau Fuddle Andrew Tate phase for their little grift, which is like it sucks, man. But hey, you'll get over it, and then you'll turn jaded and cynical, and you'll buy a pink hat, and you'll be just fine. But I do find it funny how the Zoomers are taking millennial subculture stuff and they're just making it their own. So like we used to just say being metrosexual, but they can't say metrosexual because I guess you're not allowed to be mad at the gays, so they call it looks maxing. And they say like we used to say amogging. Remember that alpha male of the group? Whenever some dude would be just like a brash asshole and he'd make you look bad in front of everybody, we just call him amogging, the amog. But now they just say mogged because they want to be different, but it's the same thing. So it's good that kids are going to be all right. They're generally doing the exact same thing we did in the 2000s. The music's shittier, but whatever. They have a new flavor of G Fuel, by the way. It's like lemon iced tea. It tastes exactly, and I mean exactly. And Canadians know this. Remember those the Nestea iced tea? If you guys want to know the biggest difference between Canadians and Americans, by the way, it's not the bags of milk thing. It's not the being gay thing. It's not the hockey thing. It is iced tea versus iced tea. Iced tea versus iced tea. Americans, you say you want an iced tea, they will give you tea in a cup. and they'll make it cold. You ask Canadians what iced tea is, there is this Nestea powder that you put a scoop in there like Kool-Aid, and you drink that. Yeah, the one thing about Substack versus YouTube is you have to write, even if AI does it for you. A lot of these grifters try and burn out quickly, as writing is apparently more difficult than screaming at a cam. It absolutely is. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. It is until it's not. Because I've noticed that, and it just comes with practice. It's the same as anything. Even just screaming into a microphone here, like me talking to you guys for an hour and 55 minutes, it is a skill in and of itself. And it's taken me years to get even this good, which isn't the greatest, but it's good enough. Writing's the same way, and I agree. The problem is when you switch from one to the other, is you have to remember that you ain't shit. And I know it's hard because I've seen the Red Pill guys go through this. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing. I'll end on a Red Pill story here to explain this part. It used to be the Red Pill was the thing, and then this guy Isolos made the Married Red Pill. And they put all the guys in charge there. He largely fucked off. Red Pill School, PK Atheist, the guy who ran the Red Pill subreddit, he wanted everything under the same umbrella. So he said, you make me your head moderator, and we'll include you in the network. To which guys like Weimar Please said, fuck off, you dumbass. I don't give a shit. What are you trying to do? I want to be the greatest subreddit that ever... Like, fuck off. We're doing work. We'll be fine. So there's always been some animosity between the Red Pill, which encompasses all the other Red Pill subreddits, and then the Married Red Pill, which is always kind of its own thing, even though they had the same source material. And every 6 months or so, somebody from one or the other who had like flair and many upvoted essays or whatever would come into the other one swinging his dick around, and it would just be a dog pile, and it was so much fun to watch. Like, you see these guys, names you'll never even know about, like 88 Will 88, who the 8s were tits for him, but everybody thought, like, is that a Nazi reference? Or, Chessie even remembers the guy's name. I can't even remember the guy's name anymore. Some lawyer type or whatever. So they'd come from the Red Pill into the Married Red Pill whenever there was a topic that kind of crossed both. I'm flared in the Red Pill. You know who the fuck I am? And everybody's like, get the fuck out of here, retard. And then Dave would go over to the Red Pill side, like, fuck off, you married boomer. But anyways, and I was like the only guy who was able to be a moderator on both. And this is exactly why, because I realized that when you're in the Red Pill or you're in the Married Red Pill, they have their own little hierarchies. There's the things you do there to be valuable, and there's things you do there to be valuable, and there's no cross-contamination. So you have to have the humility when you're walking into something new to realize, I'm just fucking new. I could be the greatest podcaster on earth, but I go to Substack and I ain't shit. So you better get writing. And this is what Stripper's talking about. Those guys that come there. If you can't write, then you better fucking eat some humble pie and be like, all right, 1 subscriber at a time. I'm fine with that. And it wasn't like it's the first time you've seen it. There was a while where like Logan Paul and them started going to Twitch to do streaming. And they did like 3 streams and they were done. And their views tanked because it turns out streaming for 8 hours a day is its own skill too, which you don't have to like it, but everything has a skill. Like if there's something you can do that other people can do, there's a way to get better at it. You just have to accept if you're trying a new thing, you're going to be the shittiest at it until you get good at it. Then once you're good, it gets easier. Like case in point now, if I take a half a day on a Substack article, I can get a good 5,000 word essay out there. That's well done, well enough. It's not book quality, but that's because, book quality, you take that extra care, authors, editing, whatever. If I have a whole day, I could put a good 10,000 words together. Only reason I could do that is because I've written 1 million words already. But yeah. I get they have canned G Fuel now? Jesus Christ. Dollar Tree, the Mega Man Blue Bomber slush is really good. I don't like any of those, man. You know what's funny? I'm so I guess lame. So like lemon iced tea. I like that one. I tried peach iced tea, but it doesn't taste very good. There's this one, black ice, which is essentially like grape. And then grape flavor I like. The Swedish fish. And then fruit punch. That's it. I'm like the simplest man ever. Jesus Christ. See what I mean? Like, yeah, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. This is exactly what they're doing now with the whole Clavicar thing, and I'm here for it. Got top mog, jester maxing, motherfuckers. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know who's hosting Rule Zero right now. It's on to them. Thank you to everybody who's invested in Ghost of Odessa. Dude, you're not gonna be disappointed. The book is gonna be amazing. And like I said, every dollar that's coming on this one, I plan on putting out in value for the book. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure your entire user experience. I want this to be like the Steve Jobs of getting a book in the mail. I really do. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think you guys are gonna love it. I mean, I know you guys are gonna love it. And I guess if I had to ask, just do me a solid. If you like it, leave an awesome review for it in Amazon or Goodreads. If you don't like it, shit all over it in either one. It would go a long way just to like, and this is like I hate asking this because it's like you have no obligation to, and I have nothing to offer you. But just let people know what they're in for. Because honestly, if you don't like the books, just say why you don't like the books. I would love that because I don't want anybody who's not going to like this getting it and then feeling disappointed. I feel like that's grifter, right? Nobody should ever regret getting something. And then if you do like it, why do you like it? Because there could be somebody who hates Red Pill, hates me, probably the greatest cyberpunk fan on earth and would probably love Softbone, but just doesn't get it because of that. And if one of you could leave something as like, oh, really? I could get into that. I think that would be great too. Or, of course, then I just did say earlier on, you can't red pill your friends. So putting a great review of Frame probably won't help. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. Fuck it. Let's do it. Rational Mail. Rolo managed to make a 20-year career out of the red pill just by word of mouth. I think we can do better. He's just got a 10-year head start on me. I think we can live with that. Forget the boomer juice. I drink raw carrot juice and it's sweet for me. It is sweet for me. Carrot juice is super sweet. The only reason I don't is because like we have one of those, the juicer attachment for those KitchenAids. You know those like $500 blenders. We're one of those people that bought that shit. Then we bought the juicing attachment. Works great. Juice is fine, but it just takes so much effort, and we're always left with so much pulp at the end of it. I got to make carrot cake, and I'm like, I don't really want to make any more carrot cake. So yeah, I'll just drink the G Fuel. Anyways, thanks you guys. See you guys next week. Yeah, I got nothing else. Cheers, boys. And the thing, son of a...
And Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall.
79T, 2458, Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
Somebody find out the real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.